Okay, it is Friday, October 5th. Julie Hirsch is on the left. Nicolette, aka Dolphin, is on the right. And I'm Sarah Armstrong Jones, and I'm the person interviewing and taping. And we were just talking about how people who are learning to communicate are also being made to specifically direct their body in order to do physical skills like typing or talking. And with that comes an awareness of self, separate from others, and that there's mixed results, that some parts of it are very positive and some parts are very hard. And that when you do not have much communication or awareness of self, that things like the idea that something very good or bad will happen doesn't mean much because there isn't a sense of self. But if, for example, somebody has health problems, what can happen once they start communicating and have more of a sense of self? How do things change?
How?
Like if Dolphin has her stomach hurting, does she worry about that?
No.
So what happens when you start to have communication and a distinct sense of your own being?
With me and her, not quite so yet. She's still in forgetfulness of that. Okay.
She's in forgetfulness. What does that mean? What happens to her when she doesn't feel good? Like if she's eating, what's her forgetfulness about?
She's hungry. Then she eats, she's not hungry no more.
Right, but also if she
But she
eats,
doesn't think about when she's going to eat again. Like, so, see, like if I went through pain and it hurt only when it happened. After it was over, it didn't bother me anymore, and I didn't worry about it happening again.
And that was before you had communication or a sense of self.
Yes. When I was communicating more, all of a sudden, like I didn't know what I knew, and I started realizing, see, that was another thing.
So like if you had trouble with your esophagus, with having your esophagus hurt after you ate, before you could communicate, you just dealt with it when it happened, yes?
Yeah, if I was hungry, I ate.
And
then after a while, I just...
when you got communication and more awareness of self and your esophagus hurt after eating, how was it different? Were you afraid that it was going to happen again? Or
yes.
Okay, so describe what it was like before and after having self-awareness. When you were not aware.
Time happened.
Yes.
Time began. And when time began, it just messed everything up.
And you had used words earlier like suffering and dreading.
Yes.
Can you talk about, because when you didn't have a sense of self, yeah,
suffering did too.
And so give an example of something like if you ate food and it hurt after you ate a meal. What was the difference? How did you experience it before communication, and how did you experience it after?
Be afraid to eat.
Because
I was that which was called Julie, and I was another, and pain happened, and since...
Was there anticipation?
Yeah, because it seemed to only happen to Julie. Like, I couldn't tell if someone else was hurt or not. Only, like, if there's people in the room, I could only tell if one person, I thought that if I was in pain, then everybody was hurting too, like it hurt everybody. You know, so I didn't understand why nobody understood that pain was happening, because I thought that we were all going through pain. I don't know if that makes sense. Then I realized that it was only me, and me was Julie, and so this was only happening to Julie, which was me. And then there was a pattern happening, see?
Yes.
And then when Julie ate, because that was one time I had sense of self, it's like hungry, Julie eats. Because if someone else was eating, I could still feel hungry.
Yes.
And that meant I was not them.
Because your feeling wasn't matching.
Yeah,
you were aware
because I was hungry and they were eating, and when they ate, like, say,
food,
then
your hunger still stayed there.
Yeah, and the only time my hunger went away was if the entity, I'm going to say, right, named Julie ate. And when Julie ate, I wasn't hungry anymore.
And then this also...
And then when pain happened, pain only would happen after, say, Julie ate something. And it would be like, say, orange juice. Well, orange juice would hurt immediately, so I knew not to drink that. But I would see that other people drank orange juice and I would not feel pain.
Yes.
So I thought I could drink orange juice and not feel pain. Because if I saw everybody's drinking orange juice, there were like 4 glasses of orange juice, and people are drinking it, nothing hurts. Then all of a sudden, like, the only person I could control, which was the Julie person, and she drank orange juice, there was like a burning feeling, hot, and that was, so, like, things only hurt when Julie drank thing. That was when I started attaching myself to things, defining myself with what was happening.
Or what was a consequence, what could be a consequence or a result.
Yeah, like everything, like the pattern, everything has a pattern. So, and anything that affected me or was everything that had to do with the Julie entity, not when things happen to the other people. See?
Yes.
And that's when I started getting more of like an attachment of who that was. Now on the communication, I became less ghost-like.
Less invisible.
Yeah, because I was only Julie sometimes. You see?
Was it like a transition?
It was a transition because...
From completely invisible to starting to exist.
Yes. See? With just like things happening. But even then, I didn't really have an overall attachment, sort of integrating into what that person was, see? And communication, you don't have a break from... You don't have a break from who that was, see? I mean... It was fun, and sometimes it was not so much fun, I guess, because you had to think like, like they say, are you happy? Then first you think, ooh, you understand?
Yes.
Then you had to sort out who, like, if you and who you are. Because that's the first thing. They always go, this is your name, which I was associating myself with, but I didn't know that it really defined me, so to speak, is the word. Yeah. Just wait till your turn, yeah. Don't be all happy like it's going to happen to you. It's not so much fun, honestly. It's not. Then you get your feelings hurt, and then that's like different pain. Seriously, don't be so much in a rush to grow up and be like other people. What happened? Yeah. Yes. When I was communicating, there was like no escape from people. Like, because you could sort of like disappear. Like, you know, when I was chasing cars, I didn't really know I was chasing cars. I was just following the sound. So I was just that movement. I didn't even know it was a car, just a, you know, the puff and that kind of thing.
But
then you couldn't really disappear. You couldn't take a break, really, you know, like from yourself. And then you had to almost like, after a while, you realize you just became this person, and even if you want to go back, you can't. If that makes sense.
yes, it does.
And then all of a sudden, you're not all over the place anymore. You're not like a ghost. You're like stuck in this entity type thing. And that person is you, and you become everything that happens to that person and everything that will happen to that person, and you can't escape that anymore, and you can't really like go and be a ghost again. And that's when people don't talk to you, all of a sudden you get lonely.
So was lonely only something you began to experience after you got a sense of self?
Yeah.
You didn't mind being invisible when you were invisible until you became visible.
Yeah, like until I became stuck in the person that was me. Not just visiting who I was, but like that was like where I am. I had to change her diaper.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on pause.